Hello, welcome back to the channel, and today we'll be talking about how Michigan can pull off the, I guess you could say, upset against Oklahoma this upcoming weekend, in which I'll be in attendance. Very excited to do so. And yeah, I just thought I would just go through some quick points, things that I think Michigan has to do, things that they have to force Oklahoma to do, and go from there. I would say number one, make Oklahoma one-dimensional. That kind of starts with John Mateer. They've already limited themselves pretty hard to be one-dimensional as is. As last week they had a real tough time running the ball. It's very hard to have a one-game sample size for a lot of the stuff, but looking off of one game, 32 carries for 103 yards, averaging 3.2 a carry. If you take out a receiver run, it's even lower than that. They also had 2 touchdowns, but apparently Tory Baylock is a bit banged up, apparently, who is their top rusher of the game, 8 carries for 44 yards. But when you really think about that, the main threat is John Mateer and his legs. Looking back at his time last season at Wazoo, anytime he had over 50 yards, they were really, really pushing the limit and doing very well. One of the biggest games that you can look at, and I'm sure you'll see highlights of, is he had 115 yards passing against Texas Tech, but he had 200 on the ground, 197 with a touchdown. Games in which he had a rushing touchdown, they did very well. He scored in almost every game. And games where he was able to rush over 10 times, he did very well. Obviously, you kind of want to try to extrapolate a little of the sack yards and stuff out of that, but overall, when his legs are moving, the team moves with him. Obviously, I know it's a big jump from Wazoo to Oklahoma, and again, we're going off of very potentially skewed or limited data, but there's not much else we can do with it there. I can't just sit up here and be like, I think Michigan's going to win because I like Michigan, right? So I'm trying to do my best here. Moving on from that point, I think the next thing you want to do is limit the time they have the ball. This is very common thing for them to say, but if you are very common thing to say in general when it comes to beating a team, if they don't have the ball, it's very hard for them to score. But Michigan now with a tempo, they ran tempo a lot last week. It's going to be interesting to see because they were out time of possessed by New Mexico, and I'm trying to think the last time Michigan was out possessed in a game against a obviously even an inferior opponent, but like a very even opponent. Been a while. So 148, 47, 504, 108, 727, 130, 1, 630, 220, 4 minutes. Those are their drives for Oklahoma. So you see only like 2 or 3 over 5 minutes. And I think that if you can hold the ball a lot longer in these games, go on a few long Michigan drives. I know that's a harder thing to do now, but if you look at Michigan in our game against New Mexico, the drives here, Michigan's drives were 2 minutes, 7 minutes, 2 minutes, 1 minute, 1 minute, 1 minute, 2 minutes, 1 minute, 3 minutes, 2 minutes, 1 minute. That's not the Michigan you normally think of. You think of Michigan going on these long, drawn-out drives, like this one from, obviously very controversial drive, but from New Mexico, 15 plays, 75 yards, 8 minutes, 39. That's the Michigan drive. So it's crazy, but we'll see how that ends up planning out for everything. But yeah, that's what we have there. Next point I would say is you got to be a dual threat team. I know like we want to limit them to doing one thing. You want to do 2 things. Now, this is the first time, I don't know, this is a fake Blake stat, but Blake Lytics stat. I don't know the last time Michigan's rushed and thrown for 200 yards in the game. I think it's been, God, I don't know. It's probably been a couple seasons. I'm so serious. Maybe the TCU game would probably be the most recent time Michigan's done that. Bryce Underwood had 21 completions on 31 attempts for 251 yards and touchdown, right? Rushing wise, 32 rushes, 201 yards, 6.3 a carry. Okay, that's very good. You take out Bryce, the fact that Bryce couldn't run is very interesting. Well, not very interesting. It's going to be very interesting to see how he runs this weekend. I think it's going to be a huge weapon. Marshall didn't have the best game stat-wise. We kind of talked about that yesterday, but Justice Haynes obviously was a menace on the ground. Even Samaj had some runs, and Kaapana came in for like a quick end-around thing. So you've got a couple options here, and as long as the ball is moving on the ground, through the air, whether it be Marlon Klein, Channing Goodwin, Samaj Morgan, Donovan McCulley, Kendrick Bell, who knows? Even Hogan Hansen coming back is going to be big. So, yeah, we really like to see that, and that's going to be very important, and we're really pushing it, hopefully down the field, through the air, and running it, and hopefully possessing at the same time. I know I'm asking for a lot, and it seems probably very scattered what I'm saying, but I think I'm making sense. You can still possess the ball, move the ball quickly on the field while also burning a bit of clock, if that makes sense. Like, I understand running up to the line doing tempo, but we run up to the line, do tempo, hold it for a bit so they can't sub, and then snap when you want. But hey, whatever works. I can't complain. I don't care about how you win as long as you do it. As long as our points are more than theirs, I couldn't care less how you do it. But and then adding on one probably final point. I know it's gonna be a quicker video today, but I got a lot I got to do beforehand. Bryce has to be able to run. Running Bryce is going to be very, 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 very important. Again, we want to limit them to one thing. If we do both things, it's huge. And I think more importantly, if Bryce is running, it's going to change everything. You know, if you have to set a guy to spy, that'll potentially can make it easier for you to throw, less of a pass rush. You can run the ball better. The quarterback run, especially in college, just changes everything. Everything. Because you don't really have guys that are built to spy. It's way easier to do so in the NFL. You don't have them built like that in college as much. So if you're able to have Mateer be one-dimensional, you run the ball and pass the ball efficiently, especially running the ball with Bryce, it's going to be really hard for you to lose. And then possessing the ball as well. I know that's basically every game laid out, but special teams I think is going to be really good. The O-line, how they get push up front against a really good D-line in Oklahoma is going to be very fascinating to see. I love our D-line against their O-line. I think both defenses are really good. And I think we could see a defensive score or two. Now, the final point, John Mateer. You guys know if you follow this channel or the BCS podcast, which hopefully we're recording in a little bit here, I love John Mateer, and I've been a big fan of John Mateer, right? There are some times where he just loses his mind. He loves to throw some contested 50-50 balls, some really high-risk passes. And if Michigan picks off one or two, if you go positive in the turnover differential, obviously, you take care of the ball and you take what they give you on offense and defense. I think this game is very winnable. I don't understand why the line's gone up to 5. I just don't. To me, this is a pick 'em. So it would be Michigan +3, which is what it was for the whole season. I don't know what's happened in the last few days that moves the lineup. Who knows? It's injuries for their running backs. And whatever Jaden Ott actually is end up going to be doing, because that's a whole different thing. I just don't know what it is. And obviously I'm super biased. I mean, you can see I got, Detroit thing here. I got a Michigan thing there. I'm wearing a Michigan shirt. I got another one hanging right there. And I got one on the door, right? Detroit flag and hat. I just still don't see it. I'm sure everyone's looking at me like, this kid's got all the merch you can believe in life. And he's like, oh, why can't Michigan win? I'm trying to use my football brain here. I guess you would have to say the home field advantages and everything, it would help. But I'm just such a firm believer that this is a win-win for Michigan. And Oklahoma, they have to win this game. They have such a tough schedule after this. They're at home. They're supposed to win. Venables needs this win. There's going to be a lot of pressure on it, man. And if you go down the field and you score on your first drive, because you obviously have the better special teams because you have the best kicker in the nation, if you go down the field and you score that first drive, take that crowd out of it, followed by a 3-and-out, start pushing momentum on it, let Venables feel it, get the boo birds going, this game can get out of hand quickly. And I really, really, really think Michigan can come in there with a victory. I'll do an official score prediction, I'm sure, on the BCS podcast later, but feeling pretty good, man. And I think this is how Michigan can win and hopefully how they'll do it. So thank you all for watching. Please like to subscribe. And let me know below what you think, if Michigan wins or not. I know I'm sure we have a very biased Michigan audience here. So I'm sure there'll be very integrity in the comments. A few Oklahomas we'll see. But yeah, thank you all for watching. Please like and subscribe. And we'll see you guys next time. Peace.